Botswana, home to the largest elephant population on Earth. A country shaped by diamonds, defined by the vast Kalahari Desert, and brought to life by the Okavango Delta. As a kid, I was hooked on National Geographic, dreaming of one day exploring this land for real. And this year, it finally happened. Together with my friend Jaimy, we set out on an insane journey into the bush. No luxury, no lodges, just a tent, the wild, and whatever the road would bring. Our goal was to experience it all in the rawest way possible. I also wanted to put the Sony's new 400-800 Ultra Zoom to the test and see if it can actually deliver the shots that I've always dreamed of capturing. The Okavango Delta. This is one of the only big river deltas in the world that does not flow into the sea. Instead, its waters end up in the dry Kalahari Desert, creating a rich wetland that floods during winter. The water starts as rain in Angola, far to the north, and it takes months to arrive. This delay shapes everything that lives here, and that's exactly why we had to go and see it for ourselves. The journey started in Maun, which is considered the gateway to the Okavango Delta. We woke up at 4:30 a.m. since the drive's supposed to take us about 5 to 6 hours. But because of the unpredictable roads and our endless curiosity, it took us a solid 11 hours. Our amazing guide LT took the time to explain everything we found along the way. From crickets to dung beetles to elephant behavior.
Bulls, they tend to be solitary or to be on their own as well. Only when they become like in a mast, like breeding season, that's when obviously just gonna go out and search out for the female who is also in a season. If he picks up one, then they just carry on.
Yeah, it's done.
They go dancing.
Really?
After arriving to the camp, we went on our first official game drive.
We found some giraffes, which is really cool. This is day one. We're now trying to get around the giraffes, so we have them with the sun against it because the sun's lowering now, so that could be really cool. So let's see if we can manage without them running away from us.
So we're in the camp. Really nice. Look at this. Yeah, we heard some crazy stories actually.
People being eaten by hyenas, so yeah, it's gonna be a nice night. We normally wake up at 5 in the morning, then have some breakfast and go on a game drive straight after. This morning, I saw a couple vultures flying around, circling, so we went to check it out and we found some lions with a fresh kill.
They got it early this morning, so that's why there isn't much left.
Lions usually hunt at night or early in the morning because during the day the sun gets so hot they have to hide under the bush to preserve their energy.
What the fuck? This was like crazy. We're like 4 meters away with like a group of 6 lions. And they're actually in the back now.
So right now we're shooting on the 400-800, the new lens, which is just released, and it's quite impressive. The 800mm range is fantastic. As you can see, it's like I'm all the way in the back on 800mm, and I can see the ostriches just fine. And one of the most important things for me with this lens is that it zooms internally. So I have this rig built and it's all balanced weight-wise. So whenever I zoom from 800 to 400, it doesn't shift in weight, which is super important. Otherwise, my whole setup is in this balance, yeah, it's harder to operate in general. So yeah, quite happy with the lens so far.
It's nice.
After this informative, nerdy chat about a lens, we had to hurry to make it to Nhai in time.
Ik ben heel benieuwd hoe dit er op de FX eruit ziet, man. Holy shit. So there should be an elephant somewhere here. We saw it on the road. Oh, there it is. Look at that. There it is.
Is that okay? That's perfect. All right.
This was by far the longest day of the entire trip. We had to cross Kalahari National Park, go into Nhai in time before the gate closed. But eventually we made it to the camp and we had 2 incredible days. After 2 days in Nhai, we made our way back to Maun to get some groceries, get some fuel, and drive onto the Moremi Game Reserve. But we stayed one night in the Kazzikini camp where we found a massive group of lions just next to the road. After staying one night at this beautiful campsite, we moved on to Moremi Game Reserve. After watching some ants kill each other, a sneezing elephant, and a little pit stop at a waterpool, we stumbled upon something crazy. While filming this one elephant drinking from the pool, suddenly over 50 other elephants joined him to drink, which was an insane sight.
We're in Moremi, near the swamps.
What is the difference between what we saw earlier in Kalahari, for example? Like, how big of a difference is it?
Yeah, it's like a way more forest kind of area instead of like the stretched fields of the Kalahari. It's completely different. It's hard to explain, but I think you will see it in the footage. It's like you're in a different country, you know.
As we go around, we're probably going to come across the adult one. Wow. Really big. And even this one can grow as much as about 30 centimeter to 45 centimeter.
Wow.
So this is what they actually use for defending themselves during the attack or during the defensive. So the middle one here is for scooping. They scoop you with it or they lift you with it to let you in, and then they close. Immediately they close, then they cut you with this. Yeah.
Really? Wow. That's amazing.
You got it, huh?
Yeah, he's doing it.
As mentioned before, the delta floods. That's why there's human-made bridges to make it across.
We took unnecessary risk. Look at this.
So we did this one-day trip with another guide, and after explicitly asking if we could make it across this swamp, after the guide said yes, we drove in, and of course we got stuck. We were extremely lucky that there was a camp nearby and that we could ask them for help. Otherwise we probably would have stayed in the car the entire night waiting for help. After these 2 Land Rovers couldn't pull us out, they came up with a better plan.
It's done. Finally.
But then there was too much water in the air filter. Now Jaimy and I have no clue about cars, but luckily Dominic did.
Remove the filter.
After removing the air filter and scooping out all the water, the engine started again, ready to take us home, and also ready for our next destination tomorrow, the Kwai concession.
Wat is aan de hand, Sjoerd?
Er ligt fucking verrotte vis in die koelkast.
Het is jammer dat die FX3 geen lucht op kan nemen.
Help.
After the stinky moment, it was time to get aboard our mokoros.
All right, folks. There's no engine. See you later, then. Enjoy it.
Lekker relaxed hoor, Sjoerd.
We were cruising in this canoe when we ran into a bunch of hippos. I didn't film, too busy pooping my pants, but here's a shot Jaimy took when the big mill decided to charge us. Now on the way back, we also found a big elephant just minding our own business, but you can see from Jaimy's face how nervous we were.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if I would do this again after reading all the horror stories online, but it was definitely a cool experience.
Hello, how are you, Sjoerd? Making some scrambled eggs for you guys here.
Whoa.
Yeah. Gotta start with a heavy stomach.
After Bagra cooked us an amazing breakfast, we left Kwai and headed towards Savuti. I can already say this was the wettest drive yet.
At least the gear's dry, man.
Right after this heavy rain, we set up camp and went for a game drive, and we found our first leopard, a baby leopard, in a tree. Then we did our first bushwalk to go and find some rock paintings. The San Bushman created rock paintings over 4,000 years ago, some of the oldest surviving art in Africa. These images found on cave walls and rock faces show animals, hunting scenes, and spiritual rituals. They were not just decoration, but ways to tell stories and share knowledge.
Made our first official bushwalk, eh?
Yeah, holy shit.
Made it.
Now it's time for the last big transit, and that's from Savuti to Chobe National Park.
Asphalt!
Finally.
Where are we now?
Chobe National Park, near Kassana. So then we will stay here until the day after tomorrow. And then we will travel to Kassana, stay a night in a hotel. And then it's done. Finito. It's kind of sad, you know? At one point, I really like to be here, but hoe zeg je dat?
On the other hand.
On the other hand, on the other side, or whatever, I'm also quite happy to sleep in my own bed. Own room, finally. I like your shirt, but spending 2 weeks with another person in a room who you haven't traveled with at all. But we made it, man. And we're still talking, so...
So this here is the tent. And this is our bathroom. Nice little toilet with a hole in the ground. Then we have Jaimy all the way over there, trying to make a fire. And then here's our shower.
Bush television.
Zit niet veel leven meer in, hè?
Ben gebroken vandaag.
Save the best for last. That's something people always say. Well, that's definitely true for what Botswana did to us. We decided to do one more game drive in the morning, 2 hours before leaving to Kassane, and then this happened. All these shots were shot handheld because the night before I already packed up my tripod. So I had to hold my breath for about 15 minutes to capture this as smooth as I could. This trip was one of the most humbling experiences I've ever had. And that mostly has to do with the way we lived there for 2 weeks. We slept in a tent, and the way from the tent to the dining table was potentially a life-threatening situation. Now, it might not sound fun, but it's actually a super nice feeling, a super nice, humbling experience that I can recommend to anyone.
You can see I'm back home, back in the studio, or in my home studio. And yeah, I'm still floating somewhere up there on cloud 9. It's been such a wild ride, this trip. But once I was editing all this stuff, I realized I didn't have enough of me talking about the specifics of the lens or what I really like about it. And I also think that looking back on this trip, I can be more specific about it. So here we go. The first thing that I really want to talk about is the focal range. So when I was planning this trip, I thought 800 mil would be too much, but I have also never been in Africa before. Africa is huge. I mean, Botswana itself is the size of France, but there's only 2 million people living there, and the rest is all wild. And there's no mountains, it's all flat. So you can imagine how far you can look at some areas. You know, in the Kalahari Desert, for example, we could look as far as the eyes could reach. So having the range is a must. I even sometimes use the clear image zoom from the camera to go up to 1200 millimeters. So yeah, range is everything. The second thing is the aperture. It's 6.3 to 8. Well, this was perfect because if I did not use an ND filter, I was somewhere around 30 aperture, like the f-stop was 30. So you definitely do need an ND filter, that's for one, but also don't be afraid because like f8 is more than good enough. And the bokeh all the way at 800 is amazing. The second thing is the stabilization mode. Now, at first I didn't think I needed this, but me being me, stupid as I am, I cleaned out all my gear, put my tripod in my suitcase on the last day, and then we went for a 1-hour drive. And then this happened. We came across these cubs in the morning sun. It was probably one of the most insane and surreal moments of the trip. I did not have my tripod with me. Now, I, of course, needed to shoot this, so I just did it handheld. I put the barrel on my knee and tried to breathe as calmly as possible, and to my surprise, it worked so well. This is pretty much one of the only shots that I use the autofocus for, because as much as I love my FX6, the autofocus is good for humans, but it's terrible for animals. Compared to all the newer cameras that Sony release with all this AI stuff, and the FX6 is just not good enough. But when you have a clean shot like this with just one subject coming towards you, it is great. It works really well. And that also just showed me that the lens is capable of doing so much more. The good thing about that is once these cameras are being updated in the future, you know, newer Mark IIs or newer cameras, then this lens will definitely be able to keep up with those newer cameras. So that's great. And also another bonus point, sorry, I keep on going, but the sharpness of this lens is out of this world. Even zoomed in all the way at 800 mil, it is so sharp in the center, in the edges. Also, the distortion is not too bad for such a zoom lens, so it's quite nice. Now, even zoomed in all the way at 1200 with the clear image zoom function, it was still super sharp. So I couldn't be happier, really. I'm super, super stoked with how these images turned out and how it was shot, because it was actually a lot of fun recording it. It was not such a hassle, which I normally experience when I shoot on these longer lenses. So that's about it for this lens review or film. I don't know how you want to call it, but thanks for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, let me know. Say something like lioness in the comments, and then I know. More respect to you. All right,